update on the expansion of the westbound traffic lanes on the Washington Bridge. As you know, tonight we'll be putting in place the third lane on the westbound travel. So we want to also, in conjunction with that, which we think is very important, we want to introduce the implementation of some new traffic calming and enforcement to reduce accidents and address the distracted driving that we feel is contributing to a heightened number of accidents, which then in turn cause many delays on the bridge. So today, Governor McKee will provide details of these initiatives and the progress we've had today. Colonel Weaver will address the state police initiatives to reduce distracted driving and accident reduction. Director Ovidia will review the schedule for the new traffic pattern and outline what drivers can expect beginning tonight. So upon conclusion of the speaking program, as we've done up to now, we'll take questions. Thank you. Governor McKee.
Thanks, Joe, and welcome to the set of Ella McKee, yes. Got the nice, I'm looking taller today. So first, good morning, everyone, and we're here to kind of inform, give an update of where we are on the structural issues that are happening on this weekend, along with the enforcement issues that we think are really critical to make the public, general public who's driving on the bridge aware of. So our engineers and work crews are about to add a third lane to the westbound side of the Washington Bridge. Once drivers get used to the change, the new traffic pattern should shorten the time it takes to get over the bridge, ease some of the congestion in the surrounding towns that I know has impacted many Rhode Islanders, especially in the East Bay. I recognize Mayor De Silva. I think I saw him walk in here somewhere. Oh, there you are there. Good. So you're right on the front line over here, Mayor. Well, it's good to have you on the front line with us. Accidents have been on my mind lately, and that's why I called today's press conference to talk about how, if we work together, we can keep people safe and get them where they need to go with the least amount of delay possible. And I would also add making sure that we're giving our small businesses that are in the impacted areas every chance that possible to continue to do business. We know that in order to do all those three things successfully, we must reduce the number of accidents occurring on the Washington Bridge, particularly those caused by distracted driving. In the months prior to December, the December 11th closure date, we were averaging one accident a day on and around the bridge, which to me is, still something that we should be able to reduce on. But think about this. After the closure, that jumped to 2 to 3 a day. And most of them were minor, fender benders, that could be avoided. That means every day commuters have to deal with 3 wild cards that can disrupt their plans and certainly grow their frustration. Now's the time for a reset. We can plan how we manage accidents once they've happened. That's why we have additional state police and tow trucks staged in the area, so we can respond to the accidents almost immediately and move disabled vehicles off the road more quickly. I know I have been involved, with going over the bridge when there's an accident, and I know that the delays are real. And certainly the delays when there's an accident are a great deal more time sensitive than if we're able to keep the roads without those accidents or abandoned vehicles. That's an effective response tool, but it's not enough to prevent the accidents from happening. we will clear the area as fast as we can and make sure that the traffic continues to flow, but that's not enough. We can't stop all accidents on the bridge, although I would like to, and I'm sure no one gets up in the morning thinking that it's going to be a good day to have a fender bender and to be delaying traffic at the same time of going through the aggravation that we probably have all gone through as drivers, that we have to kind of get information, we got to follow up with our insurance companies, the list is on, we got to potentially get to the auto body shop. These are all things that weigh on us, and many of these accidents, if not all of these accidents, can be avoided. We can reduce the number if we follow safety guidelines. Accidents on the bridge can be reduced if we get in our lane and stay in our lane. And remember, it's just a short period of time to get over the bridge. To follow these rules at that point in time is not going to be a time-consuming issue, but it will be a safety issue. And safety has always been our number one priority from the time that I made the decision to close the bridge. And now we're working on a reset strategy as we open up additional lanes. Accidents on the bridge can be reduced if we stick to the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, which is lower on the bridge because the lanes are narrower. It's just common sense. They are not unreasonably narrow. There are many places in Rhode Island that follow a similar model, as DOT can tell you. But they do represent a change from what we are used to. I talk about speed limits here, but I also know when traffic is heavy, drivers on the bridge may be moving slowly already, but that's where another danger comes in: distracting driving. It's tempting when you are in traffic to take out that cell phone and check your texts. But having the discipline not to do that during that short, time frame, that short distance that you're going to travel over the bridge, is really critical for us to reduce these accidents. It means that you are paying attention to your surroundings, and it means you are more likely to cause an accident that not only affects you, but as I said, many hundreds of cars around you. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. We are asking everyone to do their part and put the phone down. So as we gear for the next traffic pattern change, which will begin late tonight, we have also increased state police presence on the bridge to address distracted driving. You will also see a significant increase in signage and public service announcements to remind us all to stay in your lane, stay at the speed limit, and please stay off your phone. We are in this together, and we know that it's an extended period of time that we're going to be in this together. The demolition is going to happen. A new bridge that's will be built that will outlast all of us will happen, but it's going to take time, and this is the moment for a reset in terms of the behavior and our driving habits. We want you to have a safe and predictable travel experience, and we need everyone to help us make that happen. Now I'm going to ask Colonel Weaver to talk more about the measures we are taking to ramp up enforcement, and in particular on distracted driving. And Colonel, thank you so much for your leadership, as well as the state police and the troopers during this time. This is kind of an added time frame of workload, and you guys are stepping up. All your men and women on the state police are doing an important job for us. So please come up, Colonel.
Thank you, Governor McKee. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to update Rhode Islanders on the role of the Rhode Island State Police in supporting the Department of Transportation with the flow of traffic over the Washington Bridge. The additional lanes provide an opportunity to enhance traffic flow across the bridge, but it also requires that drivers obey the posted speed limits, stay in their lanes, and keep their attention focused on the road. We will proactively enforce against speeding, distracted driving, and other traffic-related offenses. First, as drivers navigate the new lanes, it is important that they adhere to the posted speed limits. Excessive speed significantly heightens the risk of crashes, which not only pose immediate danger to the drivers involved, but also to the secondary impacts, including traffic congestion and delays for all commuters. I also want to emphasize the importance of staying in your lane, your designated lane of travel. Lane discipline is crucial, as abrupt lane changes not only disrupt traffic flow, but it also poses significant safety hazards. By exhibiting patience and conscientiousness and staying within our designated lanes, we actually contribute to the smooth and orderly flow of traffic. Most importantly, the use of any wireless device, including cell phones, for communication, navigation, entertainment, or any other purpose while operating a motor vehicle on a roadway is prohibited by Rhode Island general law. I cannot stress enough the dangers of distracted driving, particularly in areas that demand heightened attention. Distracted driving poses a significant threat to the safety of all drivers, as it diverts attention from the primary task of operating a vehicle safely. Whether it's texting, using your cell phone, or engaging in any other distracting activities, the consequences can be dire. Not only does distracted driving increase in congested areas where traffic is already challenging to navigate, the risks associated with distracted driving are further amplified. Please give your undivided attention to the road and your driving. By remaining focused and alert, we can mitigate the risk of crashes, ensure our safety, and contribute to the seamless flow of traffic during these challenging circumstances. We appreciate our residents' patience during this time. By obeying speed limits, maintaining lane discipline, and avoiding distractions, we can all contribute to a better commuting experience for everyone. Thank you for your cooperation. And now, Director Alviti.
Thank you, Colonel. So here we go. What we did last week in the eastbound direction on 195, we'll be doing this week to the westbound. Beginning tonight, we're preparing to create 3 lanes of throughway on the westbound 195 direction over the Washington Bridge. We're going to start work at 9 o'clock tonight, and we're doing that during a period of time overnight when traffic is lighter, of course. And we'll be taking these lanes during the night so that travelers may experience some delays while we're doing this work tonight. We want to make sure we get that message out. We're going to be out there working overnight from 9 o'clock to potentially 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, although our crews will work to get done a lot sooner than that. Also, over the weekend, we'll be watching the traffic flowing through this new work zone set up with the 3 lanes, and we'll be making whatever modifications our traffic engineers advise us to make in the work zone setup, striping, the signage, etc., to refine the movement through so that we create the most efficient movement of traffic through that work zone over the weekend. And we'll make those adjustments over the weekend so that the 3 lanes are ready for prime time on Monday morning, when we expect with returning parents from vacation and students from vacation, school vacations, and the regular workday traffic resumes. There are several things that we ask folks to help us with. Our workers will be out there trying to make the geometry and the pathway through more efficient and faster and safer, but we ask folks to help us out in doing this. Remember to maintain the speed limit. It's a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. Don't drive distracted. Many of the accidents that are happening are the result of side swipes or rear ends at very slow speeds. And we know that distracted driving is playing a part in that, so we ask people to help us out there. And to be courteous. Allow people to merge in from some of the entrance ramps onto the into this work zone area. By doing that, the traffic will flow much more smoothly, and everybody will have a much more favorable experience as they drive through this. The lanes, as they are in the eastbound, will be 2 10-foot lanes and 1 11-foot lane. The right lane will be 11 feet, and the right lanes will have traffic restricted for trucks to only drive in the right lane. Any vehicles can drive in them, but trucks in particular can only use the right-hand lane. The other 2 lanes are 10 feet, as they are on the eastbound setup that we did, and that seems to have been accepted favorably by the folks that are negotiating their way through that. On Sunday night, in addition to, some good news to go along with this is we know that the pavement, both westbound and eastbound, has made things challenging for folks driving through this area. So beginning on Sunday night, we will be repaving both the eastbound, we'll start with the eastbound side, and the westbound side. We'll be putting brand new pavement down, brand new striping, and we'll be adding reflectors along with the lining or the striping areas to help define those areas and make a smoother ride for folks. We'll be doing that over the next week and a half, beginning on Sunday. We'll be doing the work at night from 9 at night to 5 in the morning. So expect any folks that are driving through that area overnight, some lane restrictions and some slowdown in your movement through there. But it's all in an effort to make it a smoother ride for folks, particularly in the eastbound lane where there's a pretty rough stretch of roadway. We'll be making that smooth. And then that'll continue through next week. We think that with everyone's cooperation, ours and yours, it'll make the ride through this area not only smoother, but also faster and more efficient and safer for folks. We're also at the same time embarking on an ad campaign in support of the lane shifts that will help the messaging out to the public to be able to better inform them how to traverse through. It includes pictorials and visuals that will give you the image from a driver's standpoint, what to expect to see out there so people could be better prepared when they enter this work zone for the first time. Some of the messaging actually started last Thursday, but it'll run for another full week. And again, this is to get folks ready to drive through there in the best way, in the most informed way that they possibly can. The campaign also included social media, print media, and radio. And the graphics show the new 3 lanes. The media is multilingual. There are Spanish component to this, and there was also a Portuguese print component to the messaging that we put out. We're using safety messages and benefit messages. The safety messages are: don't drive distracted, obey the speed limit, and trucks must use the far right lane. And just as important as those is being courteous to one another and allowing merging to take place and people to zip into the main travel lanes as they merge on. The benefits messages will emphasize that the lanes will give you a smoother ride, particularly with the new pavement that we'll be putting down, and they'll get you over the bridge more quickly, so we'll have a faster ride. The driver and passenger safety, again, is always at the forefront of the concerns of DOT. People's safety and is always primary with efficiency of moving through, and the safety of both the drivers and the workers that will be working there is important to us. So we thank you. We thank you all for being here and certainly helping us begin to get the messaging out on this, and that's very important. And we look forward to a busy weekend.
Thank you, Director. So we'll have the governor come back up to the podium. We will take questions at this time. Andrea will direct the questions. Thank you.
So we're going to start back here with Josh.
Question for Director Alviti, actually, if we can. We saw a lot of growing pains with the eastbound additions. Are we expecting that to be wrapped up over the weekend, or is that going to really affect Monday morning commuters, pushing that back onto some of the side streets, Providence, East Providence, that we saw last week?
Director can come up, but also I think that the timing of the work makes more sense than doing a weekday timing, which was impacting traffic during, going to work, coming to work, going to school, and that type of thing. So I think that one of the things you're going to see is, the planning going on Friday night through the Saturday, Sunday, will be able to, address those issues that you just talked about. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Peter.
No, I think I hit it on the head.
Yeah.
Say it in the microphone, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the plan is to begin work at 9 o'clock on Friday night, to have everything in place before 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, to give us a weekend to make those changes. When we started on a weekday on the eastbound side, we did that mainly in order to hit a weather window that we needed in order to stay on schedule. But this one, like many of our other work zones, we'll be doing it on a Friday night, so we have the full weekend to monitor, make adjustments, and have it ready on Monday morning for traffic.
I would also add, on that too, is that, there's good news and there's challenging news, is that we're going to do the repaving, in the evening through the morning. That we want to make people aware of that too. So that's going to be a really improvement, especially as you put new asphalt, new lining, and then what do you call those things? Reflectors. Yes, I think the reflectors are going to be very important as we deal with this over the next 2 years. Right. This is why we're having this conversation today, is that we're trying to create a reset in many ways that are going to help the people who use that the highway and the bridges for their transportation. Right.
Thank you. Do you anticipate 2 points? Is there any point over the next week or so when traffic will be brought to a full stop? And secondarily, is this a relatively permanent change? Do you anticipate any further lane changes before the demolition and construction of the new bridge happens?
I think what you're going to see is are you referring to the asphalting that's going to happen?
Either the lane shifting, the asphalting.
Well, we're going to certainly take an analysis of how effective the 3 lanes going in each direction are, but we don't anticipate any other lanes coming on board. But also the work that is being done on the asphalting and the reflectors, that's going to happen over a period of time. How long is that going to take?
Until Monday the 29th.
Monday the 29th. Okay, thanks.
But no full stop to the traffic?
No, I think the plan, at least as I hear it, and the director can correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's going to be 1 lane at a time doing the work, and transportation is going to continue to flow during that time frame overnight.
Go back there, Brian.
Director Alviti, I wanted to ask about the truck restrictions. I've talked to a former ride-out engineer who said that the trucks coming from 95 south, getting on 195 east, might have a hard time getting over to that right-hand lane during rush hour because they're starting on the left and they're bigger trucks. Is that actually going to be practical during rush hour? Is that going to be a challenge for trucks to actually make it over to that 11-foot lane? And a second question is, what are you seeing in terms of backups on South Water Street and how that merge into live traffic is affecting things?
So it's a little early to tell what the beneficial effects are. Anecdotally, we're seeing beneficial effects in the flow of the traffic through and less congestion, particularly on that 95 area, the Route 95 transition into 195, where much of that truck traffic has to make the transition into the right lane. We have added additional signage along 95 to prepare truck drivers to make that transition over to the right-hand lane sooner rather than later. We're finding that that has a positive effect on the movement of trucks into that lane. Enforcement, as you've heard, is going to play a big role in creating a culture among the truck drivers to make sure they're in that right-hand lane before they enter the work zone, because it'll be illegal to be in the other two lanes. We're seeing that we monitor that movement continuously, and we make adjustments to signage and striping in order to accommodate those changes. And we have during last week, and we've seen that moderate considerably. We expect that there may be minor changes as we go on. We're always looking to make things better and more efficient. So our traffic engineers are out there on a daily basis actually riding through to make sure that we've got this as well signed and as well people are moving through as well informed as we can make it.
Colonel Weaver, could you kind of quantify, since the bridge closure, how often have state police been pulling people over for distracted driving, for different violations, and where do you plan to step up? How far do you plan to intensify that enforcement?
So the main goal, again, as the governor has stated, is safety. So we have been monitoring the number of motor vehicle crashes in the area, and we have recently increased our enforcement to attempt to mitigate the number of crashes in the area of the Washington Bridge. So that increase has just recently happened, and we plan to assess with the forthcoming lane changes, and we will make determinations on how best to deploy the resources to ensure that we are able to address any issues as far as speeding, lane changes, which also contribute to the number of motor vehicle crashes.
Colonel, I also wanted to stress, do you have a specific number when it comes to people pulled over? How are you planning on pulling people over without causing even more backups?
Yes, so the area as far as enforcement is a challenging one, and we are going to do our best when we are doing enforcement to not impede and create more of an issue with the enforcement in the area. But that's something that we will definitely manage, and we will not have any issues doing that.
We don't have any numbers though.
The numbers we can get back to you with specific numbers, but again, this whole situation is very fluid. So there are many factors that are going to go into this. So the numbers are going to change. Weather is a factor. There are several things that are going to contribute to those numbers. So you need a much larger sample size, which is going to take time to give you numbers. So any numbers that we would give you would not give you a full picture right now. So we just kind of ask your patience with that. And again, we're all going to be assessing this, and the goal is to make sure that everyone is safe and that we can reduce the number of crashes.
And does the governor or Director Alvidi have an update on the forensic analysis or the day of reckoning?
Yeah, we love that day of reckoning, and I'm happy I said it but I also think that began when we brought the legal team on, right? Anybody who is, going to be interviewed relative to looking back on this, and I think looking back is very important. So we'll follow our engineers, the engineers that I brought on through our office, along with the legal team that is engaged by our office to determine the timing on any of the analysis that will come out.
Have you seen any change in the frequency of accidents on the eastbound side since opening that third lane? Many drivers expressed concerns that the narrower lanes would make it more frequent for accidents. So do we know, is it making things better or worse?
So as the Colonel said, it's difficult to put numbers on it on a 1 week, right? I think we have to look at this on a month basis. But initially, you know, there's a marginal reduction on the east side. But that's just a 1 week. You know, that's not data that we're going to rely on. We're going to, and that's also predates this effort here today to, you know, to be asking, you know, and pointing out that the driving is, you know, the driving is very important, the driving behavior.
Gonna go to Ray.
First to El Coronel, Weaver. We're going to have a warning period for the driver. Let's say some people maybe by mistake go 45 miles an hour. It's going to be a grace period where people are going to be warned, man, guys, slow down. Or you're going to have the patrol car just driving back and forth over the bridge at 40 miles an hour to keep the speed limit.
No, again, the patrols will have discretion, and we would just like people to be mindful of their speed. And we are also not going to, we're going to be targeting the people who are being aggressive in their driving behaviors. So we're not looking to cite people who are just going slightly over the speed limit, although we would like them to maintain the speed limit or below, but we will definitely make sure that we are targeting the people who are really becoming aggressive in their operation and speed and lane changes and things like that. And then distracted driving is other priority as well.
No, just one for the governor.
Yeah, no, I just add that you know, the Colonel, we've asked the Colonel to, you know, use whatever measures are necessary to lower these accidents, you know, and I think it's important that they're measured, and that's what I think that the Colonel just represented.
Today's Friday. Any other good news for us? Any other update regarding who's responsible for the damage of the bridge? Anything that you can add today?
Other than the fact that you know, and then we just had the question about the forensics and the looking backwards, which is really important, clearly. But you know, I'm taking it. I also feel as though that where I stand, you know, a lot of the stuff that happened prior to me being in office, we have to really do a real close look on that and then make determinations. But I am very focused on from December 11th moving forward. You know, making sure that the RFPs are coming out for the demolition. Believe that we're having weekly meetings with the full teams that are representing all the parties relative to this issue, including our commerce, which we are working on. That should be, you know, certainly something that'll be coming up very shortly. Working with the General Assembly about helping our local communities and partnering in with our mayors. Mayor Smiley and Mayor De Silva. That's happening as well. And then the RFP for the actual building a brand new bridge, again, that will outlast all our lifetimes. That is top priority for me.
Well, I like that one. The final one is you want to take responsibility of what happened over the summer. That somebody inspect the bridge, never inform Peter or video, inform you, because it was under your watch that happened. You're going to own that responsibility that inspector or whatever person who find the problem lie to the community and to all of you guys?
That's a given that we're going to hold accountability as we, you know, as we get the information to make sure that we're accurate on who we hold accountable, right? So, so I look at this as two sections: one prior to December 11th, and then the scrutiny that needs to be had for accountability there, and then also happening after December 11th, and also the scrutiny and accountability there. Clearly, we're, as our office, as governor, we're responsible for the decisions that were made to close the bridge, and then thinking that it might be a 90-day fix, and then finding out through our engineers that it was going to be longer than a 90-day fix to get back to where we were, and now doing the RFPs, bringing on a legal team, bringing our engineer team on. That's certainly you know, something that I am totally responsible for.
Director Alviti, there's been a lot of talk looking back, but looking forward, are there any concerns within RIDOT that this expanded traffic flow over the singular southbound bridge, or excuse me, southern span, is going to initiate any premature wear on that span? Is there any concern for that we're sort of alleviating things now, but kicking a can down the road that in a few decades that bridge might have a shorter lifespan due to these implementations?
So you're talking about the eastbound spans and whether or not it will be adequate for the additional traffic, is that correct?
The southern bridge.
Say it again?
The southern portion of the bridge that
Yes.
contains both east and westbound traffic.
These are, first it's important to understand that there are two separate bridges here. The one that is heading eastbound, or traditionally headed eastbound, that we're now using for two-way traffic. And there's the westbound bridge. The eastbound bridge is a much newer bridge. It was built a little over 20 years ago. It was built to new standards in a different way, in a different kind of construction than the westbound bridge. The westbound bridge was built in the 60s. So it's many decades older than the one that we're using. And in an abundance of caution, we hired in addition to relying on the annual inspections that are done on that side, we brought on a separate consultant to take an independent look at the structure, using it for full 6 lanes and the additional traffic. And they found that it is adequate for that. Because of the width of the lanes that we're creating, they recommended that while from time to time we give permits, state permits, to companies that are transporting oversized and overweight loads, during the construction and the use of this, we will not be giving those special permits out. But for regular traffic, they determined that the bridge is sufficient to be able to carry that additional capacity during the length of the project. We didn't stop there. We had a second company come in, review that company's computations and do a peer review on it, and they concurred with the first engineering company. So we've had 2 additional looks in addition to the other engineering reports that we had. We had 2 brand new reports done on it, and they both came back and said that it's adequate for the use that we'll be using it for the next several years.
Great, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Next time I won't give it.